Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Premier League predictions round 31. Mikey, I have not had many good weeks, so I'm going to celebrate this one because despite there still being one game left of Premier League round 30 at time of recording, I've scored so many points. I'm guaranteed to win because I got 3 bob-ons. Forest 1, Man United 0, Newcastle 2, Brentford 1, and amazingly, Bournemouth 1. Ipswich 2, which may or may not have been a semi-serious prediction, but I'm going to run away celebrating anyway. Mikey, you're still going to be 15-8 up in the weekly, which is embarrassing. But in the aggregate, unless you smash in a nice, you got a bonus point riding on that one tonight as well, haven't you? In the aggregate, it's 155, 148. Are you feeling the heat?
Am I feeling the heat? No, I'm not that worried about that element because I think you added in that type of scoring when I went a couple of weeks ahead, Ben. So yeah, I'm not overly bothered about it. But yeah, no, tip my hat off to you. Out of 9 games, getting 3 bob on is incredible going. And yeah, maybe you should predict Ipswich to win every week, Ben.
Well, maybe I just might get involved in the comments. All the fixtures for Premier League round 31, which is the weekend round now coming up, are going to be there in the description. Copy and paste those. Get your own predictions in. Give yourself 1 point for a correct scoreline, 3 points for a correct outcome, 4 points if your correct outcome has 5 or more goals. Let's start this off. Is this an early one on Saturday, Mikey? Everton v Arsenal.
Yeah, I like this fixture, Everton v Arsenal, and I think it was an early kickoff last year, or maybe it was the year before. Sean Dyche's first game, James Tarkowski scores in a 1-0 win for Everton. I think that must have been season before last if it was Dyche's first game. But for me, it evokes memories of Kevin Campbell, and obviously Mikel Arteta was a hero at Everton for a few years before.
And Tony Adams going through and scoring to win the title, getting played through and
Highbury,
running in behind like Michael Owen.
Brilliant stuff. But all of that being said, there's not a huge amount left to play for either of these teams. Arsenal look nailed on for me to finish second, and Everton are going to finish in the middle of the bottom half, aren't they? They gave it a good go in the Merseyside derby last night as we record. Beto got in behind Van Dijk a couple of times and showed what a threat he can be. But yeah, unfortunately, they just didn't get the goal and didn't quite get the rub of the green, although maybe they did in some respects because James Tarkowski probably a little bit fortunate to not be sent off. Arsenal are going to go to Goodison and absolutely dominate the ball, but I just think they're still lacking a little bit of cutting edge, even with Bukayo Saka being back. I could see this being a frustrating afternoon. So for that reason, I'm going Everton 1, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, Saka being back makes a huge difference. I think there's quite a lot of intangible differences when he's playing. He's kind of like I know, go England fan on, but the talisman, isn't it? It just changes everything for that team. So I will, in that case, did one of the centre halves went out, didn't he?
Gabriel,
night?
yeah, but according to FPL, he's still got a chance. Like they're calling it 75% chance he'll play at the moment, but that's quite often wrong. But yeah, I don't think it was as bad as first thought. But that being said, it's unlikely he'll play in this one, so it'll probably be Kivior.
I will back Arsenal to win then, and I'm going to back them to win 2-0. So it's purely a Saka-based prediction. Right, I'm definitely calling this a derby. Crystal Palace versus Brighton is, what is it, the M23 derby or something? Don't start me on those.
I don't think they like M23, and I'm not sure it's factually correct.
I don't like
either,
anything, do they, football fans?
But yeah,
what's that junction near you?
It's definitely a rivalry for these clubs.
For the pedants. What's that junction near you on the M25? Is it junction 10? It's just always utterly horrific if I ever want to go down south at the moment. So
yeah, that is Wisley.
It's pathetic, isn't it? And it like says on the signs
not to go to Wisley Gardens. So
yeah, right. It says on the signs like 2026 or whatever it's going to be finishing. Anyway, let's stop talking about the bottom part of the M25 and the locality of South London and Brighton. Pretty disappointing in midweek, this, wasn't it? Brighton lost 3-0 at home to Villa. Palace didn't beat Southampton, which is some kind of issue at the moment. So I'll go for the draw in this one, but I like the way both sides play. I like both managers. I'll play Desmond. 2-2, entertaining draw, Mikey.
Okay, I'm going to go for the Palace home win. I think they're still riding the crest of a wave, even though they only got a point against Southampton. They should have won that game, really. They haven't beaten Brighton at home since 2018, Ben. I was at that game, a
They
3-2
do do well
win.
there, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn Murray scored for Brighton. Zaha was awesome for
The Glenn
Palace that
Murray
day.
derby, of course.
Yeah, very much so. So yeah, I'm going to go for Palace to edge this one 2-1.
Ipswich versus Wolves.
Yeah, here we are, Ben. Solid win and performance for Ipswich at Bournemouth. That hasn't happened enough this season, and so was it. And they did it without Amari Hutchinson and Leif Davis, two of the most talented players in the squad, at least. But both could return for this game. Not really sure yet. But Wolves, to be fair, they're in great form, aren't they? And Cunha's out, but other players have stepped up. Strand Larson seems to get more chances when Cunha isn't playing. And he started taking them as well. And Menetzi, not really a player I knew a huge amount, wears number 5, but plays really high up the pitch.
Triggers me badly.
Look,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
looks a good player. And yeah, he's been lively. Wolves, I think they'll play with real intensity in this one. I think they'll see it as win today or get a draw today and we stay up. So even though it's likely that's going to happen, whatever happens, I think they'll be bang up for it, which should make for quite an entertaining game. I'm hoping so because I'm going to this one. Ipswich are looking for their first double of the season. They beat Wolves 2-1 back in November or December. I'm going to go for Ipswich to do it again. I'm going Ipswich 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1.
That's a scribble because I was going to go with such sophisticated logic, Mikey, that I predicted Ipswich to win 2-1 against Bournemouth, and they did. So I was just
go
going to
4-3 then.
damn well do it again. I don't know. It's the hope that kills you. You're right. 10 points in 5 for Wolves. They're in great nick. Um, it'll be very amusing if Ipswich do win back-to-back games. Bearing in mind that when was the last time that happened? That would have been back end of the Championships, last Coventry and Huddersfield at the end of the Championship season, I guess, wouldn't it?
That's
I
right.
can't have
We're pretty
2-1.
good. We're pretty good in April and May.
You factor in the opponent difficulty here. You've taken the win. I'll take the unhelpful draw then. Let it be known, I was going to take 2-1, but I'll take a 1-1. And I'll move us on to West Ham United versus Bournemouth. West Ham aren't very good at the moment, but neither are Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are like 5 without a win. But I could see Bournemouth going to West Ham and bouncing back. I don't know. I just feel Potterball isn't quite up and running yet, and they're going to want to end this bad run. I'm talking myself into a Bournemouth win by 3-1. Why not?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go for 4 goals as well, but I'm going to go for the draw in this one. I'm going 2-2. Both pretty wretched at the moment, but I think this will be a slightly more open game than other West Ham games in recent weeks. But yeah, Bournemouth badly out of form. West Ham not quite up and running under Potter, but yeah, 2-2.
Villa, Forest are 2 EFL alumni teachers' pets, 3rd and 7th in the table. Tremendous.
Yeah, and for me, Clive, this is match of the weekend. I think there's lots riding on it. It's 2 teams that are in good form and enjoying their football and just a lot of feel good. And it's not a derby, not going to pretend it is, but they're relatively local. It's going to be a cracking atmosphere at Villa Park. A really good result for Villa away at Brighton. I didn't see them going there and winning 3-0. A few decisions went their way, which you need, but Rashford has just been an absolute
counter-attacking was filthy, wasn't it? Yeah.
Emery's unlocked beast mode in Marcus Rashford, and I think we've talked about him a lot this season, but just got to shout out Morgan Rogers again. Like, he's just been so consistent for a young lad in the team pretty much every single week, and goal contributions, but all round play has been really, really good. Forest, incredible season, but I think tiredness might start to hit them a little bit. It was a difficult game, that Manchester United one. They basically ground it out from the moment they took the lead in that one, and they've
What's the
obviously
goal, by the
got
way?
FA Cup. They're almost incredible goal from Elanga. They can definitely hurt Aston Villa, but I'm going to go for Villa to win this one 3-1.
I'll take the draw then, Mikey. I just think Forest are the type of team that can, even if they are tired and it's the end of a tricky 3-game week and Villa are good, put it this way, they're not going to let themselves get counter-attacked the way that Brighton did, are they? They're the sort of
No.
team that could not lose. So I will take the 1-1 and doff my cap to both sides and move us on to Brentford versus Chelsea. So we're at a bit of a disadvantage here to you guys in the comments because we don't know what Chelsea did just yet. Although whether that gives us any actual insight into what to predict or not, I don't know either. I feel a bit too draw happy here. I could call a draw on this one as well, Mikey. But we've flipped Brentford around, haven't we? And they've started not being so great at home. So I think I'm going to back Chelsea, even though this feels like a stab in the dark, given we don't know what they did. So I'll go 2-1 Chelsea, Mikey. What do you reckon?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to flip that round. I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford. Not a huge amount of logic going into this one. Brentford can beat anyone at home and away, as they've proven this season. He's gonna rotate as he usually does. Brentford have won twice at Stamford Bridge in the last few seasons, which is a really special result for them. They'd love to get their first win over Chelsea at the G-Tech, and I'm backing them to do it here 2-1.
Fulham, Liverpool. What? Harry Wilson,
Harry Wilson,
um,
Danny Murphy.
Karl-Heinz Riedler, Fabio Carvalho, Harvey
Nice.
Elliott. Are you having that one?
Yeah,
As
we'll have
Fulham
Harvey
fans are
Elliott.
still annoyed about that, aren't they?
As they should be. For Fulham, though, they're in slight danger of a special season fading away a little bit, swept aside by Palace in the Cup after such a positive start at the Cottage, and then narrowly beaten at Arsenal. A little bit unfortunate there. You mentioned Harry Wilson; they're missing his spark either off the bench or as a starter. They had such good options, and without him there, they've got slightly less options. And yeah, they're struggling for form a little bit now. Liverpool back on track, beating Everton. No goal for Salah, so he's going to be super hungry for this one. I'm going to back Liverpool to win this one. It's slightly boring, but I'm going Fulham 1, Liverpool 2.
Well, you say it's boring, but I'm going to double you up. I just looked here. This slips away. Liverpool are 26 games unbeaten in the Premier League. A lot of people look at the gap and look at the table, but it's a gigantic undefeated streak, and potentially they could go for an entire season only losing that home game to Forest way back when, which is just insane, really, isn't it? So yeah, I'll double you up. I'm going to play for a bonus point, Mikey. Sorry, Fulham fans. Let's go 4-1 just to get it up to 5 goals for me. Tottenham versus Southampton. Again, we don't know what Tottenham have done, but we probably do know what Southampton are going to do, and that's probably lose. But look, they grabbed themselves a point, didn't they, against Palace? And you know, when their fans are having such a bad time, you'll take that. Could have lost it at the end, like you mentioned when you're talking about Palace, which would have just been brutal. So of course I'm going to back Tottenham here, and this feels goaly, doesn't it? So I'm going to go 3-0 to Spurs.
Okay, yeah, I'm going the 3-goal margin as well, but I'm going 4-1 for Spurs. They won this fixture 5-0 at St Mary's earlier on in the season,
Oh, I
scored
remember,
all of their
yeah.
goals before half time. Just a little nugget for you here. Son Heung-min absolutely loves this fixture. He's scored more goals against Southampton than any other club. 18 games, 13 goals, 8 assists. I'm going to back him. I'm not gonna literally back him, but he's in my fantasy football team with this fixture in mind. Let's put it that way.
That's just cruel, isn't it? Right, Man United, Man City, the Manchester Derby. We'll have to call this one a derby, Mikey.
Yeah, I think we can probably call this one
Yeah,
a derby. Easy to forget that United won this fixture at the Etihad, didn't they? A few months
ridiculous.
ago. Amad Diallo with just the most ridiculous injury time winner there. United were better at Forest, but just no cutting edge really, and it was one of those where it was Harry Maguire slinging him on up front that looked like their most likely route to goal. In the end, so much rests on the shoulders of Bruno Fernandes, but he seems to quite like having that responsibility in the team. No Erling Haaland, obviously, for City, but Omar Mamouche is scoring for fun. And they've got Jack Grealish back in the team, and he scored his first goal. He'd love a, a Sunday 4:30 in front of a big audience to really announce himself as back. And let's face it, City do need the points. I'm going for another draw in this one, though. I think we're both a little bit draw
Oh,
happy this week. I'm going
interesting.
Manchester United 2, Manchester City 2.
Well, I'm going to take the away win. Normally, when we get to this one, Mikey, we're like, oh, 2-0, 3-0 Man City, but it's not going to be quite so straightforward this time. Do you know what? I'll take a 1-0 win, Man City. I think they are superior, but not as superior as they have been before, but they'll still do enough. And I think when it comes down to derby games like this, they're often a bit dull and a bit tight, aren't they? And often just the team with the better players manages to eke it out in kind of tournament football fashion. Finally, Leicester versus Newcastle, which reminds me of when Leicester were going for the title. Who was that? Was he Japanese, the fellow they had up front who
Oh,
scored?
yes. Okazaki sort of
Was it
like little
Okazaki?
bicycle kick, didn't he?
Yeah, I remember him
Yeah.
scoring. I think Rafa might have been the Newcastle manager as well. So it was a real tight game. I don't think this is going to be a tight game. We've been continually backing against Leicester, understandably so, when they are 7 without victory. And how many consecutive defeats? Oh, 7 defeats in a row as well. It's flashed up. Newcastle could win against, who was it? Brentford
Brentford.
in midweek. I will go for a textbook 2-goal away victory. Leicester 0, Newcastle 2.
On a similar note, I'm going Leicester 1, Newcastle 3. There's goals in this Newcastle team, isn't there? And Leicester, they're normally competitive at home, but I can't see them getting anything in this one, not with the attacking players that Newcastle will have out on the pitch.
Brilliant stuff. There is your 10 to predict for Premier League round 31. Get involved in the comments as ever. Copy and paste from the description. Give yourself 1 point, correct outcome. 3 points, correct scoreline. 4 points for a bonus. We've thrown in a couple for you today. I've got Liverpool winning 4-1. Mikey has got Spurs winning 4-1. I think that's just about it, isn't it? Conservative as ever from us two. In our predictions, not in our politics, before you yell at us in the comments. This is a politics-free zone. Mikey, are you working at Ipswich Wolves or are you going as a fan?
No, going as a fan for this one. But yeah, it was a late night last night. Midweeks means that I'm very busy. Midweek Premier League fixtures. I'm glad that this is the final one because I was up late last night and then obviously family man now. I was up early this morning and I'm going to
Hi
be
to Ruben in the background and well done to Mikey for powering on through.
yeah, yeah. I wondered if that might get picked up on the mic for the second night in a row. It looks like it did.
Oh,
But yeah,
bless
another late
him.
one tonight. But at least it's Chelsea Spurs and not another West Ham game. So yeah, quite happy to have these midweeks out of the way. But yeah, the final straight is here.
It is. And you have nothing but empathy from me. Anybody who complains about babies crying is either not understanding of empathy or not a parent. Put it that way, I can say from my own experience. Get involved down in the comments, get your predictions in, and we will see you at the back end of next week for round 32.